Something or someone inspired you to start tracking your marketing metrics. And I am not so secretly hoping it was me and Angie that did that. But even if it wasn't and we aren't, that's fine because I'm just stoked that you are, because it really is one of the most impactful changes that you can make as a small business owner. But now that you've been tracking your numbers or your metrics or your insights or your KPIs or whatever it is you want to call them, there is a skill that you need to learn to make sure that your numbers can actually guide you towards better marketing. And that skill is learning how to read your numbers and then taking an action based on what you learn. Hi, my name is Taylor, and I'm a small business marketing consultant and one of the founders here at NG. And in this video, I'm going to help you learn that skill so you know exactly what to do with your monthly marketing stats. And this is what we're going to cover in this quick video: how to make sure that your numbers are easy to read, how to spot the numbers that tell you to do more of this, how to know when it's time to make an inevitable change, and the easiest way to choose the next marketing move you're going to make with confidence. So let's get into it. And we're going to start with the thing you need to do in order to make your numbers easy to read. Because if you do not have a spreadsheet brain, like me, does not have a spreadsheet brain, your marketing metrics just start to look like a wall of numbers in a few months. And that means you're going to feel confused at least. And at worst, you're going to feel stupid. So you decide to stop doing the thing that makes you feel stupid, which means you're going to stop tracking your numbers. And that's not the point here. I don't want you to do that. So the thing you need to do to make your numbers easy to read is get them into a chart form. And if you're tracking your numbers in a spreadsheet, you're going to have to learn how to write formulas to create these charts, or you're going to have to hire someone to do it for you. Both are totally options if you love reading your numbers in spreadsheets. But if you use NG to track your marketing metrics, the software is going to turn your numbers into charts for you. And in the end, I really, really don't care which tact and way you use. I just want you to track your numbers in a way that you can actually understand so you actually can use your numbers. Okay, so I've shared thing one, and now it's time to get on to thing two. How to spot the numbers that are telling you to do more of this. And it's pretty simple. You look for the peaks and the valleys in your charts. But there is a little bit of an asterisk to this because you need to know what peaks are good peaks and good spikes and what spikes are bad spikes and bad peaks, right? Like the same with valleys, right? There's a good version and a bad version of both. And that really depends on what stat you're looking at. So let's look at an example. So what we're looking at are two real charts of NG's monthly metrics that we track in our NG account. So this is a really great example that's going to help you understand the difference between a good peak and a good valley and a bad peak and a bad valley. So when we're looking at the chart on the left, the website visitors. Now, in general, having more people visit your website is a great thing. So you can see there are two pretty big peaks here on this chart in December and in September. So those are things that would make me go, okay, what did I do? What was happening to help create these good peaks in these numbers? Now, on the other side of that, you can see that the summer months, June and July, there's a valley here. And it's not a terrible valley, but still, I'm going to look at that and ask myself, what was going on in my world that would make the number of people coming to my website drop during the summer months? And on the other side of the screen, you see a chart that represents our cost to acquire a customer. And this isn't a metric that every small business is going to track, but it's one that's very important for NG to track for NG's business. And this is an example of a peak being a bad peak, because we don't want to have to spend a lot of marketing dollars to win a new customer for the business. So you can see here in April, there is a massive spike in our cost to acquire a customer. And so when I look at this chart, I have to go, okay, what went wrong here in March and April to lead to such a huge spike in this number? Versus a good valley in this chart on the right would be the winter months, November, December, January, and February. What was I doing to bring the cost of my customers down? So you do need to know the difference between a good spike and a bad spike, a good valley and a bad valley. And once you do, the good peaks and valleys are telling you to do more of whatever it is you did to create that good spike, that good peak, or that good valley. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, the bad peaks and valleys. Thing number 3 is knowing when it's time to change things up because something isn't working. And to figure out what is it that isn't working and is it time for me to make a change, the answer is when a bad peak or valley becomes a pattern. Because for whatever reason that it's bad, if you see a bad peak or valley over and over and over again, that is a very clear sign to change whatever it is you're doing, and sometimes stop doing the thing altogether. Which brings us to thing 4, how to choose your next move with confidence. And this can be hard, even for experienced marketers like me. And the reason that it can be hard is marketing is just a big old experiment. It's a series of deciding, I'm going to try this thing, trying it, tracking your results, and then looking at the numbers and trying to figure out what they tell you. And honestly, there aren't many times that the numbers are going to give you a 100% accurate, crystal clear, do this kind of signal. But what your numbers do, they guide you. And they take you out of the place where you're making decisions based off of vibes, because that's like making decisions with a blindfold on, and that's not exactly going to make you feel confident. But when you're looking at your options and you're referring back to the numbers that you tracked, you can feel confident that you're making a very educated decision, one that you have evidence to say, this is why I did that. And that is why it is such a great thing to be tracking your marketing stats. And it's why we celebrate KPI Day at NG, to help you build this muscle for understanding what your numbers are telling you and making smarter and more confident decisions with them. And if you've made it this far into this video and you're not already using NG to track your results, you can start your free 14-day trial at ng.co. And be sure to check out some of our other videos about KPIs, because this is a simple but transformative change that you can make for your small business. So go get it.